And today we got a fun one. We're gonna take my love of music and love of running and learn how your running should be more like the Ramones. Hey team, I'm up on Snow King. I've got a lot of smoke in the region and kind of tough breathing, so my workout today was a nice easy zone 2 day with some pickups. So I decided I'm gonna hike up Snow King instead, keep it nice and easy, and then to get my leg speed and pickups on the downhill, where I'm able to again pick things up a little bit without a whole lot of breathing. So what instigated this theme for today is, if you may know, last week I launched my coaching app, and there's been a 10-day special promotion offer for you guys on YouTube. Speaking of which, by the time you're seeing this, there's probably going to be 2 days left of the special promo. So if you're really interested, dive in, get it, hurry before that ends. But to back up a minute, the theme of today's video, I've heard from several runners from Instagram asking me why I have been using the Ramones as kind of like the theme songs for all my coaching app promotions. And I really appreciate their awareness to this, because it's been very, very intentional, because I think the Ramones really represent how I coach, my coaching philosophy, and everything that kind of goes into what I've been doing as a coach. So if you're not too familiar with the Ramones, let's start there. They're mostly known for inventing punk rock and inventing a new genre that the story goes that early on 1,000 people would go see them play. Not too many, but those 1,000 people went on to start their own band. So they were very influential. They also created a look that was authentic, was just about them. It wasn't contrived. It was just how they were in everyday life. And so were their songs. They were raw. They were super, super authentic and did things their way because of how they wanted their music to be. They looked at what was missing in their own music and created that. And that's kind of like my coaching. I love to look at what's missing in an athlete and apply what's missing to really catapult their running. So the Ramones' first album is widely considered one of the greatest debut albums of all time, and standing alone as one of the greatest albums of all time. So the Ramones didn't just start a genre, they started a movement. And where this becomes powerful is that this movement and genre they started, I talked earlier about how 1,000 people went to see them in concert and all those people went on to start bands, is that the Ramones weren't that great. They still aren't that great of musicians. 2-3 chords and that's it. But they presented the idea that you didn't have to be a great musician to start a band and to do things that way you wanted to do. It was the first true DIY attitude that anybody could do this if they wanted to. Just like running. Like we don't have to compare ourselves with anybody. If we just look at how we want to be as runners, do it our way, that's the reward. So if you're just starting out, you're starting with a clean slate, look at all the progress you can make. Look how creative you can be. They created music that they wanted to hear, that they wanted to play, not what others thought they should do or play. And again, I think in the running world now, there's so much out there that creates this kind of need to be like someone else or to do what they're doing, to wear the official ultra marathon kit, to think ultras are all or nothing. All this noise starts kind of pushing us in maybe directions that we don't want to go in, or that we feel like we're not worthy unless we go down a certain path. Create your own path. The Ramones were raw and unapologetic. And then it was this authenticity that created a great following, that they had hardcore fans that follow them no matter what, because they liked the music, they liked the ethos, they liked the DIY attitude, and they were lifelong fans. They weren't the most popular band in the world, but they influenced every major musician in one way or another. Whether it was the first to start selling t-shirts at concerts, yep, they did that. Or just, again, creating that core fan follower base. Again, they weren't the most popular, but as soon as you start focusing on being popular, your creativity goes out the window, you lose that hardcore fan base, and you just become really sterile, losing all that authenticity. So is that happening with your running? Maybe you've lost that beginner attitude of trying new things or changing things up and not doing the same thing all the time, that again has kind of lost that creativity, and maybe the mindset's become a little stagnant, or again, you're following popularity and messes with the vibe you want to be as a runner and a person. I mentioned that the Ramones lasted 22 years, and up into, even to that last concert they played, the band members still rode in a van. They put all their roadies, all their equipment in a big touring bus, but they wanted to keep the ethos and that camaraderie in a van for 22 years. They didn't always get along, but again, they felt like this helped them remain true to the spirit and true to their fan base. They didn't get lost on spending money just to spend money. They stayed true, again, to that spirit and not get swayed by things that other bands were doing or what they should do. Which again, I think it's probably the most authentic way they could have been, is to remain true to how it was from the beginning. And I think that's a really, really key point of how it was from the beginning. If you're a veteran runner out there, been running a long time like I have, I've looked at my running recently with the new coaching app and decided that I needed to go back to a lot of the fundamentals, that slowly through time I was missing out on some of that efficiency, that going back to the fundamentals, going back to the start, really, really helps catapult us to the next level. And with a lot of good music, the Ramones' music, especially the lyrics, really reflected their own personal experiences and life. And again, how potent is that for how we can treat our running? Is that our running can be a reflection of who we are as a person, that ultimately, I feel, if you're being authentic to your running, authentic to your goals, that really becomes an inspirational feed point to other people around us. And this is where you can be really an inspiration to others who are witnessing your authenticity and a devotion that you put into your running. Let that feed off on them. Maybe they start running, maybe they see it's possible, they can do it in their own way. So whether you like the Ramones music or not, see it as something of a passion that permeates through everything you do as a runner. You might not be the fastest runner in the world or the best runner in the world, but maybe you can create your own anthem that is played in every sports venue, and the chant, "Hey ho, let's go," that everybody knows. And ultimately, I think the message here is to reflect on your own running. Are you still being raw and spirited and being that authentic runner that maybe you were when you first started? Have you veered too far away from that? Have you gone a different path? Have you gotten lost? and maybe start to adjust a little bit and bring back that rawness and let it permeate through your whole body. So, all right, hey ho, let's go from Snow King, Jackson Hole, Born to Run World. See you guys.